So this next match review comes to us from Jordan, who has 9,000, wow, 9,000 hours, 945 hours, almost at that 1K hour area where I expect you to have most of your fundamentals DVD down pat. So like, I am Moonwalk here. I know to prioritize this, just the general like flow of the game you understand. You are on the meatpacking plant, which is a very aggressively survivor side map. Very, very high pallet count. Most of the pallets being safe as well. Thank God you're Xenomorph, so at least you can shoot over a lot of them, but like, still not a good map for any character besides maybe Nurse. Raise and lead a Xeno army, that's what I want. That's why we're making the guide. I just want everybody to enjoy the character and get that they're really, really good. Yeah, let's take a look at any add-ons you pikes. Oh no. Oh, there's a lot to unpack here. I'm going to explain something. Light Wand is quite literally an add-on that does nothing. It is one of the few add-ons in Dead by Daylight that does not in any way benefit you whatsoever, and it is a dead add-on slot to bring. It needs to be changed. So what the Light Wand does is it increases the downtime that flame turrets have when you exit a control station. If you notice, they go boop, boop, and they just kind of can't fire at you right away when you come out of a turret station. Early in the Xenomorph's life cycle as a character in Dead by Daylight, those turrets were invincible whenever they were doing that. Whenever they were in the downtime mode, they were invincible. That did not last very long. They patched that very quickly. So the idea was that like Light Wand gave you more time to position to destroy the turrets once their invincibility stopped, or just get out of the way entirely. Now the turrets no longer have invincibility while they're in the downtime mode, so you're gonna smack them, which is what you should do. So this add-on quite literally does nothing. It does not benefit you in any way. It just needs a full rework. It needs to do something completely different. Never ever run this add-on. This is objectively the worst add-on. That and Molted Skin are the worst add-ons, so never ever run that. The multi-purpose hatchet is pretty bad too. Hemorrhage is a good effect, but for a green add-on, it's very expensive. I would much rather you have run Kane's helmet here. The only reason I would recommend multi-purpose hatchet is if you're doing like an anti-healing kind of deal, like whether that like running like Nurses, Thanos, stuff like that, trying to do an anti-healing build, then I would recommend like Kane's helmet and multi-purpose hatchet, but never ever multi-purpose hatchet by itself. Sorry, I didn't even talk about your build. Your build is so ridiculously padded that it's going to be hard to... I always recommend that people never run quad slowdown when they send in match reviews. And in general, I don't think you should be running quad slowdown when you're playing Dead by Daylight, because like that is just completely over the top in terms of what you will ever require in a public match. Yeah, like this is just a lot. The main reason I say this in terms of specifically the match reviews is because in terms of teaching consistency, the whole point of teaching consistency in Dead by Daylight is failing from your mistakes and letting those failures be felt, so they're easy to identify and then ergo easy to fix. If you're just padding your mistakes with a bunch of slowdown, you're not feeling the effects of your mistakes. So I would take one or two of these off for like an info perk or like a quality of life perk, something like that. At the very least. So getting into the turret station right away, control station right away. Good. What you should do, so you have your power immediately and you can start tracking survivors. Okay, you hear somebody, you should go. So in terms of the tail attack, it's generally better to aim higher rather than lower. The reason, as you're seeing, is that collision is very, very terrible in the way it interacts with this killer. The ground, I think you hit the pallet here technically, but like the ground, anything close to the ground typically has pretty sizable collision. So it's usually better with the Xenomorph to be aiming center mass, just like from the waist up on survivors. That way you're not hitting the pallet or the floor or anything when you're going for an attack. Yeah, especially with her having a turret, should have been able to like down here. Okay, you are able to actually hit survivors when they're dropping turrets. Most people don't know this, but while a survivor is actively in the turret dropping animation, you can just do a single shot straight ahead and hit both of them and take both them and the turret out. Even if the survivor is done placing the turret, you can do a strafe shot and hit both of them as well. So that's what you should have done here. Instead, you choose to go for the hit on her, but not take care of the turret. You should always be taking care of your turrets. You lose track of her. She went right, not left. What are you looking up for? You got your hopes and dreams up there? People still have those? Yes, they do. Wow, what happened to mine? Good to see you, Demo. How are you doing? Good mind game. Fortunately, she's gonna WQ. Real brain, sorry. This is a place of positivity, my bad. This is why Gideon is really good for Survivor, because you just end up like W King pre-drop, W key pre-drop, W key pre-drop. And there's not much you can do about that. So, needless to say, from the moment that you start chasing Nia, it's already over a minute before I even find. So right about here. So 23 seconds. You've been chasing her for over a minute. Chase isn't Dead by Daylight. Only need to be 30 to 40 seconds. So when they start getting 50 plus, you should start thinking about leaving. You chased her for over a minute here. So it's a very, very long chase, which means match time is gen time. A lot of gen progress is now on the map. And you don't even go for a skirt choke. So you could have easily made that one up to your top left. And you decide for some reason to put her on a normal hook instead when you could have made a skirt choke, which means you just omitted a use of the most powerful slowdown in the game for some reason. I don't know why you opted to do that, but you definitely should have. I think it's one of those things that goes to show you too is a lot of people that run quad slowdown don't always know how to get the most value out of it either. So they just end up without info or help in chase, and they're just like, oh. That's what I was talking about at the beginning, Xeno. Is like multi-purpose hatchet by itself is never something you should run by yourself. Ever. The reason you should run a multi-purpose hatchet mostly boils down to like doing an anti-heal build or something, and in that case you're running it with Kane's helmet. Okay, so right now we're going to talk about purposeful kicking. If you're going to kick a pallet, you need to kick the pallet on the side that denies the survivor the most resources. So forcing the survivor to drop the pallet on this side makes sense because all she has is the wall. She doesn't even have an exit out of this room because this door is still up until that gen's done. So she is up creek without a pallet if you kick the pallet on this side. However, you follow her around and kick it on the other side, which gives her access to quite literally the entire map after she stuns you. So you should have forced the pallet down on the opposite side. Never ever break these walls. Never break these walls. Because while it may give you easier access to the gen on the other side of the wall, it also gives the survivors easier access to gens on the other side of the wall. So it actually helps them arguably more than it helps you to have this wall gone. So I would not. No, flashbangs out of lockers are still a thing if you time it correctly. Perk. Only flashlight saves out of lockers are another thing. You have to like slow vault and get grabbed to get those. Good, you played that window correctly. Oh wow, I can't believe that hit. He didn't hit the wall or anything. High shot. Yeah, please use your pain res. I will say this, I don't mean this is like a shame thing, but like there should be no reason you're running quad slowdown and losing, even on the meatpacking plant. You should have broke that immediately. Well, if you time it to where the lockers are, yeah. Like it should still be a thing. I'm trying to pay attention to the match review. Once again, don't break these doors. Because now that gives them extra access to the... It gives them extra access to the gen as well. You were not taking care of your turrets, so you were spending most of your game out of your power. You gotta take care of your turrets, man. You are willingly, constantly giving up your power for basically no reason. The reason Xenomorph is oppressive is because of their map mobility and their tail attack. And you're giving up half of your kit, half of what makes your kit oppressive, just cause. There's no reason you should not be taking care of those turrets the moment you see them. So you saw something on a gen right here. I forgot you had that challenge of like, what will the purple lose? Yeah, your chases, despite being an anti-chase killer, are extremely long because you're spending half of your games. You should have stayed on that Ada. Breaking off for Meg makes no sense here. Yeah, you keep losing your power constantly, which is essentially making you 115 lizard with hand. I know it's an alien, okay? Like, it looks like a lizard. Like you were essentially playing without a power here. You could have hit her over that table multiple times, but you tried to go for the completely safe shot. Yeah, hit her over the table. Hit her over the table. You can hit her over that. Meow's rating me, rating me, rating me, rating. Yo, meow. Oh, I feel it. Yeah, you can hit over this loop, as you should. So many people say that though. They want a hat cosmetic for like Xeno for demo. Good call out on her being there. But if you had downed her earlier, she wouldn't be in the situation. You should have hit that. Yeah, she shouldn't have even got that off. You should have hit that. Good patience. Who's got tonight? We have like 12, 13? Somebody said they're uploading another one. Well, they could have completely prevented before the people buckle up. They just missed their swing on the person that initiated it. Yeah, we had a lot. We had a lot of match views tonight. Yeah, that's kind of the problem with Xenomorph on multi-floor maps is like your control station may not be able to access somebody on the same floor or detect somebody through the floor that you don't have access to. Kind of annoying. You need to... You're playing specifically as Xenomorph, and so many of your chases could have ended tremendously quicker if you were actually using your tail attack to circumvent the loop. But you're specifically using the tail as just a zoning threat and nothing else. And that's why your chases are really long and bloated in terms of time. High Priestess. Get it? High Priestess. Haha. Hopefully you're doing all this, Tuesday. It's good to see you. Okay, so you went from I'm not even going to attempt in res hooks to I'm going to greed extremely far away for a Scourge Hook. You flipped your mistake that you're making. At the beginning of the match, you weren't even attempting Scourge Hooks. You're like, whatever. I'm just going to hook them on normal hooks. And now you're like greeting super long for Scourge Hooks. If you didn't know, Xenomorph has the only varied grunt count in the game. It always takes 10 grunts, or it always takes 10 grunts until a survivor rolls off your shoulder, except for Xenomorph, which is 6.5. So use that to figure out when that's about to happen. Only character in the game that has a different grunt count. It's weird. It's very, very weird. I think it was a good match that shows that, like, just because you slap on four slowdown does not mean you're even going to win the match. And it's almost kind of like why I don't recommend that people run for slowdown in the people run for slowdown in the match reviews because of like match like this. Remember that in the tunnels, you cannot hear the exit gates or the hatch. You can still track the footsteps, but the exit gates and hatch do not make noise on the tunnel. It is the one exception to the sound reading rule, which is I think makes sense because then the Xenomorph would just win every endgame, like very seamlessly. I would recommend playing a different killer, to be honest. I know it's weird for me to say, well, to somebody playing Xenomorph, but like you kind of just want to use, the Xenomorph as just like free zoning, and you're playing as a 115 killer otherwise. Oh no. Whisper's best Xenomorph perk confirmed. Oh yeah. Oh boy, my favorite perk combo. Once again, they could have like went after Ada way earlier and chose not to. And actually have drop chase with Ada more than once, so like they knew and they just continued to let it happen. Okay, so in terms of your main takeaways, in terms of your match review, your first takeaway is I don't know if Xenomorph is the fit for you. So you have multiple options here. You seem to mostly just use the Xenomorph's tail attack as just like a zoning threat, and you really don't actively go for any shots unless they're like super ridiculously easy, and even then you were missing those. Like you would loot somebody around a pallet until they were in front of the pallet, and then you would accidentally hit the pallet. So I don't know if this is the character for you, because so many of these chases, there's the opportunity to shoot over the pallet, to tail attack over a loop, to tail attack like around the side. Like the tail attack is one of the most versatile anti-chase tools in the game because of its ability to weave in and around objects, but you basically only use it as a zoning threat and only when it's like super guaranteed you're gonna get the shot, and even then you're missing those. So I don't know if this is the character for you, because you would be better off playing another 115 killer with a different chase ability if that is the case, because you're essentially leaving so much pressure on the table just by not really using your tail attack. So I would either start using the tail attack, start practicing, or just pick someone else, because this doesn't seem like a good fit. In terms of like Xenomorph specific things, if you really do want to stick with the Xenomorph, your second main takeaway is you gotta take care of your turrets, man. The flame turrets are your main counterplay against the Xenomorph. So when you see them as a Xenomorph, you gotta get rid of those guys as soon as possible. The main exceptions being like if you have Lambert's star map and you have like a turret at the very edge of like your maximum range, which would be 8 meters at that point. Those are like the exceptions, but even then you should be taking care of those the moment you see them. And there's so many times that the flame turrets knocked you out of power this match. And once again, go back to takeaway number 1, you're spending most of the game as 115 lizard with arm, which is like not good. You could have been playing another 115 killer that could not have their power taken away. So that's not good. I would very heavily encourage you to stop running force slowdown. Third takeaway, stop running force slowdown. As you can see, flopping on force slowdown does not just win your matches for free. It does not. You actually have to know how to utilize that slowdown, and if you play poorly, it's not going to bail you out, especially with slowdown like Dead Man's Grim Embrace and Pain Res, which require you to get the down, to get the hook quickly, to get the most value out of them. If you're looking for perks that still are effective but still help you learn, Deadlock is fine. Keep Deadlock. Corrupt Intervention, great. Honestly, Grim Embrace, not a bad choice. You can keep Grim Embrace. I always say for people that don't have good map awareness yet, to do like Barbecue Lethal. It's a good combo. Like kind of learn general survivor spawns and where survivors like to be. But I would definitely swap out some of these for like Corrupt and stuff like that. Things that kind of just go burr without you needing a down, so you can actually have time to learn that tail.